What's up, everybody? Hope everyone is having an amazing night so far. We are on episode 6 of Miami Hurricanes After Dark. We have a very special group of guests coming on tonight's show. We got my co-host, Norfresh, all the way from the capital of Salmon Country in Alaska. We got RYNJ all the way from New Jersey. We got Laz all the way from Cutler Ridge coming on the show. And we also got Petey from Twitter as well. So we'll have some fans coming on the show a little later. But Norfresh, man, we just had our first scrimmage of the fall. We got a lot of exciting things. It doesn't even feel like we're less than a month away from our first game. Man, where do we even begin?
Well, man, what stood out to me the most immediately was the fact that we had good news from the offense right away. We didn't wait. We didn't have to dink around and wonder what ifs. I mean, the offense, obviously with King at the helm right now, was prepared immediately. And you got to expect some bumps and bruises, but, to have a quarterback come in and have the offense ready from the jump is something that we're really not accustomed to right now. And in my opinion, it's a big deal. I guess we'll kind of start it off with here. I mean, what do we think about this offense? We got some stats coming in. I mean, guys like Rooster, 10 carries, 100-some yards, touchdowns. Even guys like Restrepo are in the backfield getting carries and getting touchdowns. I mean, we've got some interesting stuff going on with this offense. Ryan, or RY from NJ, what do you think here, man?
Yeah, man. I think the offense, the offense did so well that you have people questioning the defense right now. I mean, that's sort of what happened in this first scrimmage. I mean, people are, I think the word I saw on Twitter today was, well, is this the worst defense, under Manny Diaz's watch? And yeah. I think that's a reasonable question, right? You look at some of the depth at cornerback and in those areas, and there's some question marks. Linebacker is obviously a question mark. Who's going to fill in those roles? So it's great to see. I'm also curious, we didn't get too much on exactly how the scrimmage was run. Was it operated similarly to, some of the previous either closed or open scrimmages that we were able to see and, over the years. So, how was it constructed? Was it in the defense's favor or the offense's favor? Because I know that there's certain things you can do and certain ways you can set the scrimmage up to make things look a certain way, So I think there's a lot of, a lot of positivity, though, on the offense. And again, we're not used to seeing that. We're normally used to hearing, especially in the early scrimmages, that the defense dominated. That's the normal, right? The defense usually has the upper hand in early scrimmages, and this didn't seem to be the case there. So is the offense that good? Is the defense bad? Or is it a combination of both, or the fact that, hey, this is a new system and they were working some things out and this is kind of where the numbers led? So I think there's a lot to look at here.
No, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with RYNJ. I mean, we don't really know what to expect after the first fall scrimmage. We don't know if we have a very good offense or if we have like you said, a lot of people have talked about this could be the worst defense under Manny Diaz's watch. We all know the question marks at cornerback play. We are very slim. Consistency is key with DJ Ivy and Al Blades. Manny Diaz stated that. The development of Corey Couch and Christian Williams is very valuable. We have Bradley Jennings Jr., who has not played in a very long time at Miami. He's getting first-team reps at middle linebacker. Zach McLeod and Bradley Jennings are the veteran players expected to make that first-team big impact this upcoming season. Avery Huff, Sam Brooks, are they ready to shine? Wayman Steed, is he up to date with his injury? He has improved a lot from rehabbing. So there are a lot of question marks. We did lose our best player in Gregory Rousseau. So ultimately, defensively, it's going to be interesting how they perform this upcoming season. I think it'll be a good defense. We have too many athletes, too many playmakers in this defense for it to fail. Manny Diaz, typically, he always has a solid defense. We had Mark D'Onofrio as our defensive coordinator. It can't get worse than that. We had Mark Richt and Dan Enos as our play callers. It can only get better from there. So we'll see what happens. I do like the fact that Jalen Knighton played very well as a true freshman in his first scrimmage to run for 120 yards. Incredible. and people have been praising him left and right. Gregory Rousseau had a lot of positive things to say about Jalen Knighton in his interview with 247 Sports. I think the sky's the limit for him. I've had people say he's going to be one of the best running backs to ever come at the University of Miami, stats-wise, in college. A lot of pressure on the freshman, but, hey, it's going to be scary with him and De'Aaron King this upcoming season, man. So a lot of things to look forward to, and I'm just glad Rhett Lashley is one hell of an OC. So it'll be an interesting season. And Laz has just joined us all the way from Cutler Ridge, man. How you doing today, Laz?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
Hey, it's an honor to have you on.
It's kind of late for an old guy like me, you know?
It's an honor to have you on, man. Listen to you every morning with my dad going to drop me off at school on the Joe Rose Show, 560 WQAM. Man, to have you in person now is an honor, man. It's a dream come true, man. So thank you so much.
Well, it confirms I'm an old foodie.
Hey, but Laz,
I miss those days, man.
Do you still call in?
Nah, man. Radio, they don't take calls anymore. You
Yeah.
know? Every now and then, I'll get on with Hawk, or if Alex Donald's on, Alex is always taking calls and those guys. But
Yeah.
nah, man, they did away with the calls.
It's hey.
The new world order, man.
Maybe you can call into my YouTube show, man. Well, it's not the Joe Rose Show, but we'll make it happen.
I don't know if the Joe Rose Show is still the Joe Rose Show.
Probably
A lot of summers have passed.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Hey, Laz, what do you think about the scrimmage, man? Your first thoughts? New offense. Gregory Rousseau has left the team. You know, it is the first scrimmage, but what are some early thoughts that you liked?
I mean, I like the fact that we got a guy under center that has tools and experience. Are we going to use them, to our advantage and be able to, put him in positions to be able to make plays? I don't know. I mean, everything for me, and for the last few years, unfortunately, everything for me revolves around the offensive line, man. If you can't keep the quarterback clean and you can't open running lanes, you can't block, I mean, that's a problem, bro. And we've been plagued with offensive line woes. And I'm a broken record, but if you ain't got a line, you ain't got nothing. On both sides of the ball.
Yeah. I think De'Aaron King gave high praise, right, to the offensive line for the from the scrimmage. I think he had a lot of positive things to say, which, I mean, I know, take it with a grain of salt.
Kind of has to, you know what I mean? Can you imagine? First scrimmage, hey, these bastards don't block. I got sacked like 9 times. I had these bitches eating, you know what I mean?
He's a true leader. He's a true leader. You're right. He's a true leader. He's a true leader. He's gonna say what he's got to say, but at the same time, I don't think he would say it necessarily if he didn't feel like there was some great, truth behind it. He seems that type of kid to me. I mean, from the interviews I've seen and everything, he seems to be just an honest guy. I mean, that just looks like what he is. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we got to see it. We got to see it happen first. I mean, Laz, you've seen a lot of scrimmages. You've watched this stuff over the years. How much weight do you put into something like that? Say from the teams of the early 2000s, 90s, 80s.
No, but it's totally different animal from what went on. I mean, yesterday. It's to see what we see now during this pandemic and the guys in masks and there's that cloud hanging over it. But scrimmages for the most part, I mean, we've tailgated at a bunch of spring games, glorified, scrimmages, and you don't really see nothing here, man. You got to see them in action. I mean, you got to see them, in a game. And hopefully we have games this year. I got my doubts. But, it should be interesting. I guess after last year, anything will be an improvement. So for the realistic people, not the 12-0 national championship every year people, if you see an offensive line that blocks and keeps this kid upright and you have a running game and the D-line, performs even without Rousseau and those are things you can take away, man. You should win a lot of games with whatever schedule they put together. So you should definitely improve on last season on the disaster that was last season, arguably the worst season in the history of the football program.
But I mean, it's a good point. You know, a lot of people have said, do you guys think this will be the worst defense possibly that Manny Diaz has this upcoming season at all?
Hey, there's talent. Listen, the University of Miami has never been without talented players. The problem has been developing those players and then putting them in positions to win. Look at how many of these kids don't do this. Every year we have the same conversation. This shit is so tired. You see these kids, they come to school, they're mediocre, lackluster. Some of them, you know, they don't even look like they should be on a University of Miami football team, and then they go to the NFL, and the guys are, you know, lights out, perennial, you know, Pro Bowlers, you know, Hall of Famers, some of them. I mean, it goes on and on. You got to develop these kids, man, and then you got to put them in positions to win and make plays on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned D'Onofrio. The most frustrating thing about D'Onofrio was watching, you know, safeties and cornerbacks and everybody 19 yards back, you know, and you're scratching your head and you're saying, what the hell's going on? And, you know, it's a recurring theme here. Something's got to change.
Yeah.
Norfresh, what do you think about the first scrimmage?
The one thing that stood out to me on the scrimmage is looking at King's numbers, 15 of 26, 187 yards, 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
That's quality. I mean, that's each play meaning something, you know? I mean, we got guys out there, Mallory, 4 receptions, 71 yards, a touchdown. Redding was out there. Redding got a couple catches, 40-some yards. I'm looking at guys out there, our pass plays are averaging around 17, 20 yards per completion. I mean, that's not bad for these young guys right now coming out of the gate, in my opinion. I'm really curious to see what Rooster and Chaney do for us, man. I mean, Rooster definitely set it off. Chaney had a touchdown as well. He didn't have the numbers Rooster had, but I'm really, really curious to see what these 2 freshmen running back can do for us going forward.
Yeah. I've always thought that, you know, outside of the offensive line, Laz, I always thought that wide receiver the last couple of years has been the biggest question mark. You know, there's been nobody that has stepped up to be that Stacy Coley, you know, type of guy where you can count on them when it's crunched. You know, it's 3rd and 10, and you need that first down in the 4th quarter. There's been nobody to go to. I mean, you might say Mike Harley. He stepped up a little bit last year. You know, but I'm waiting for someone to really be the guy, the alpha wide receiver, that is the count on dude that you can, you know, that you could put in that position, right? We don't even have a Barrios type guy, right? You know, last year there was nobody. I mean, apparently, we couldn't score any points in the bowl game. There was no one to throw to. There was no one who wanted to make a play. There was nobody who wanted to be the guy. Give me the ball. Give me it every time. And that's what's missing, you know, I think, from the wide receiver core. So that's, to me, is the biggest question mark outside of the offensive line. Running backs, Miami's never had a problem with having some athletic, fast, tough running backs. You know, Travis Homer was a great, you know, I can think a surprise in a sense. But that guy that's a tough guy, tough kid. So I want to see the wide receiver step up.
Rooster's kind of that we haven't had a running back like Rooster in a little while, kind of since Duke Johnson was around. A guy you get in space, can contribute in the passing game, get around the outside of the tackles to make plays and stuff like that. It'll be nice to have that kind of him and Chaney have that speed and power, and then you add in Cam Harris, who's got that power as well. We're going to have that, you know, boom and bang kind of thing going on, and I think it's going to work really well for Ashley.
Yeah, and that's a good point because, you know, wide receiver room. You know, we haven't – Stacy Coley, that was a great example. He was injured a lot, and then his freshman year was great, but then injuries came through, and then he had a nice senior year.
His senior year that's the year I'm really thinking about, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, before that, Amon Richards, you know, injuries, you know, ruined his career was over because of injuries, unfortunately. He had a great freshman year, and then, you know, hey – end of the career because of injuries. Leonard Hankerson was probably our last X factor wide receiver, and Braxton Berrios that I can think of. Because Braxton Berrios, man, he would make diving catches. I wish he was involved with the game plan throughout his whole career. But, man, his senior year, he really bailed us out a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably would have lost a couple games if Braxton Berrios was not on that roster. And he was thinking about transferring as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, the development at wide receiver is very key. I mean, look at Darrell Langham. If he doesn't make that catch at Florida State, if he drops that pass against Georgia Tech, we don't win those football games. That changes a lot. So, you know, it's going to be very interesting how our wide receivers do develop. Mark Pope has been a big question mark. Will he show up? Mike Harley, he's shown flashes of a good wide receiver. He was recruited to play at West Virginia under Dana Holgerson, so I think he will have a great senior year. But Xavier Restrepo, look out for him as well. Very good player.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think all the receivers – yeah.
You guys are going down memory lane, and a guy that I had a lot of high hopes for that came here and, I mean, you know, had injuries but really never panned out or never really got it going was Tommy Streeter, man.
Yeah.
Huge kid, man. I remember his old man spurned Schnellenberger, and I think he went to Pitt or something like that.
Hey, but
Streeter
lads,
Senior.
didn't he declare early for the draft, Tommy Streeter? I think if he had a nice junior year where he was contributing, and then if he would have stayed, I think he would have completed a nice career at Miami. Because his freshman year, he tore his ACL.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
He's one of those kids that, you know, at the time we were like, what in the world is he doing? Why is he going to the draft now? He should wait, and all that good stuff. But you know, the street agents get in your ear and they boost you up, and before you know it, you're a first rounder. So, what round did he go in?
Sixth round.
I like the fifth.
It was late.
Yeah,
Sixth
round, right up there. He wasn't in the first 3 or 4 rounds.
But you know what? Guys like Aldarius Johnson, Devon Johnson, like LaRon Bird. I mean, these guys, they're underclassmen, had really good seasons, but they just never developed over time. They just, as the games went on, they were just out of the game plan. They weren't involved.
All right, you could probably grab every position on the team, and you could probably use the same word, undeveloped, whatever you want to call it, of guys that we got that were prospects that were recruited by all. You can't tell me, look, a great kid, a personal friend, Tracy Howard. You know,
Tracy Howard?
Recruited by everybody. Everybody wanted him. He was 5-star. Everybody wanted, came here. They didn't do nothing with him.
Yeah.
They didn't do nothing with him. You know what I mean? And on and on and on and on and on. All those kids out of Northwestern. You know, I mean, you can. Every coach. We've had the last 4 coaches. You know, same deal. When Coco ran out of Butch's guys, he ran out of guys. You know, so it was over. There was no. If you can't develop them, I mean, I'd rather get a dog at 2 or 3 stars that come in here and busts his ass and takes it personal and walks out with a chip on his shoulder and gets into fights in practice and bites people's ears and shit, than a guy that's 5 stars and, you know, he needs his caviar and his Avion water after practice. You know, I don't need those guys. I don't need dogs.
Yeah, well,
as you can see, I'm a big fan of dogs.
I mean, those are the guys that were at FIU last year. You know, these are the guys that, you know, that are beating Miami. These 2 or 3 star dogs that are coming in there, and they look at this program and they go, yeah, you show me nothing. You know, they're not scared anymore of big bad, you know, the big bad you know, and you know, we focus on stars so much. We focus on all this other crap with these guys.
One of the most famous guys to play at this school was an unknown when he came here. I think he had 2 offers. He's an NFL Hall of Famer. Yeah, he works on the team. Ed Reed. Nobody knew who the hell Ed Reed was.
Yeah.
They're crazy recruiting this guy, whatever, and look at him now. You know, so I don't believe in that star system. That star system is 10%, you know, analytics and 90% opinion.
Right. And do you guys think with the coach?
Greg Rousseau was our best example recently, right? Greg Rousseau was, you know.
Absolutely. Do you guys think with the coaching staff we have now, we can finally see development with players? Because it's shown, you know, we get in the highly touted recruits. We see the talent on the field. It's putting it together, developing the players, you know, from their freshman year onto their senior year. You know, can these players development? Do you guys think we have the coaches right now for that to happen, or we're just going to keep shooting ourselves in the foot? North Fresh, what do you think?
I think we're a lot better off this year than we were last year. Guys like Likens and Garen Justice, former offensive coordinators themselves, guys with a proven background, proven track record of success. Likens is going on back-to-back first-round NFL picks from Arizona State. You know, he took Brandon Ayuk out of junior college and turned him into a first-round NFL player. I mean, that's always something that's intriguing, definitely. I don't think guys last year like Stubblefield and Barry and those guys, they didn't have that track record. I watched the receivers at Utah before we had Stubblefield, and I wasn't impressed at all. I didn't even see what the big draw was, why he was one of our guys. But yeah, I think this year the fact that we've got guys with a proven track record and guys that Manny Diaz can go to when things get rough and actually get good advice from, because last year he didn't have that at all. He can actually go to these guys now and get this solid, good advice. I think we're in a lot better position this year than we were last year, and I expect to see development at those positions like offensive line, wide receiver. I truly expect to see it this year. Not leaps and bounds, but I expect to see some kind of improvement.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think every coach, obviously it's all mostly offensively, all offensively really, is an upgrade. It just from their resumes alone, you know, not even judging by, you know, what I think or hype. Their resumes all prove it. You know, like you said, Likens is probably the biggest standout there with what he did with those receivers, and that doesn't just happen, you know, magically. That's not luck. Maybe one receiver getting luck, you know, is luck, right? But a couple like that recently under his, you know, coaching, that's not luck. I don't believe that. So I think that's a huge upgrade, and I think we're going to see that with the receivers. You know, talking about the receivers before, I think we're going to see that with Likens just being there. And Garen Justice, just, I don't know, he just seems like a good dude. I don't know. Just, again, I judge everybody. I judge him off Twitter.
I like him, man.
Yeah, he just seems
right.
like, he just seems like a guy I'd want to hang out with, and I'd want to, you know, coach my kids. And I'm excited just to see what he brings, you know. And again, I think it's a huge step up from Barry from last year, you know. But I'll say this though, we all kind of thought the same thing last year about those coaches. You know, we looked at Barry and Stubblefield. There's always questions about, because you know he kind of came from different kind of schools. But you know, Enos, we all were all like, oh, he's from Alabama. Oh, this guy snubbed. Whatever. What's his name? Saban. Thank you. This guy snubbed Saban. You know, oh, look at him. He's gonna be the best. And you know, that guy was a mess, man. I mean, I hope that Manny's inability to, you know, or his lackluster coaching in crunch time and his clock management. I hope that's on Enos. I hope that was on Enos last year. I don't know that, but I think he had a lot, you know, he left a lot there to be desired, and I'm hoping it's corrected with Lashley, you know, helping him out there and with what he learned from last year. You know, I think that's, you know, hopefully he learned a lot, you know.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I hope, you know, that he did in fact learn from last year. If nothing else can be taken away from last year, the one thing that we can walk away with is let it be that Manny Diaz learned a lot of lessons, a lot of bad lessons, and felt a lot of pain and suffering from last year. Because I know I sure shit did. But there are a lot of nice individual pieces. I will say that. I'm a big fan of Lashley and you know, Justice, and I think that, you know, individually that you can't deny the resumes and the experience and all that good stuff. It's great. Now, what happens when you put that all together? How does that all work? How does that all click? How does that all get going and get moving? You know, so I'm a wait and see kind of guy. Man. I just been stung so many times, you know. So I gotta see, you know. So
Were you guys
I
at that
hope
FIU game? No, I'm sorry. Were you guys at that FIU game? Were you at that FIU game?
I've
You didn't
never
go.
set foot in that place, and I never will.
Paul,
I've never
were you there?
Nah, I was actually working. I was working that night, and I saw the score, and it was I just started laughing. I just started laughing the whole time. I said, man, like, because we just came out of the Florida State win, the Louisville win. It seemed like we were going to go 8-4. We may even get into the Orange Bowl, play Alabama, record-wise.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
It was just, you're so
You know what
used
the
to
problem was? You know what the problem was? That the team thought the same thing. We ain't got to show up for these guys. We're going to go play Alabama in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
This is FIU. This is nothing. And you know what? It turned into something, and it got out of control. That's precisely the mentality that, first and foremost, the players got to get rid of. Just because there's a U on the helmet don't mean jack. That don't guarantee you nothing.
Nope.
I hope the coaches don't entertain that BS. And then, for the most part, the most important part to me, because it's aggravating as hell, the fans got to get rid of that. The U don't guarantee nothing no more. It just doesn't. You just don't show up and whip people's ass because obviously you just don't do it. Like last year's your example.
I hate it when I see the fans look at the ACC Coastal schedule and they all assume W's in every team, and I'm like, North Carolina is dramatically better. Duke has a fantastic quarterback. Potentially. He's got to prove himself, but the Clemson transfer, Chase Bryce, right?
Yeah.
That's a quarterback that, obviously I think Miami probably was looking into also. These teams are traditionally the teams that Miami would run over, right? And or you think they would, that fan perception. And it's like, they're not, and they're not even teams, across the country, teams don't even look at them that way either. They look at them better than we look at them. And I think that watching that last year, those games, I'm hoping it was humbling to not only the coaches and the players, but to the fans also, to just not to say that we don't think we're going to win every game. You should think that. That's what being a fan is. But you got to, take a step back and respect the game and respect these other teams a little bit, and stop thinking that just because it's Miami, the U, and you throw up this and, you think, everything's going to be, sunshine and paradise. And clearly, you get kicked in the teeth when you play like that. And nothing was more humbling than that night watching FIU by myself on my couch. Just sort of sitting there drinking my scotch, and not quite sure and knowing what the fallout was going to be, but not quite sure what was going to happen. And then from there, I pretty much didn't really care what happened. The bowl game was a complete joke, and who gave a shit? That was a joke, but.
What's that old Florida, that team that came in here where Shark Boy's coaching? The old Florida coach?
Dan Mullen?
Yeah, where's he at? They came
Central Michigan?
Yeah, man. That game was a freaking – that wasn't a red flag. I mean, we're supposed to mollywop these guys. You're supposed to be playing the scout team by the second quarter. And, man, we were in a dogfight with those guys.
Went to the last minute,
I'm sorry, when you put these rosters side by side and you compare, I mean, again, this is just paper, but supposedly, they don't recruit on our level. They don't get the types of kids we get, whatever. Development, they got dogs. We they got pit bulls. We got poodles sometimes. You can't play like that. You got to develop these kids so they can have that. They have that. We haven't had that killer mentality around here. Wow, man. 2005. You see it in spurts. 17 when we won 10 games, whatever with coach. You see it in spurts. But that consistent University of Miami football where we would walk in the Orange Bowl and be like, oh man, Duke, okay, big 40 to zip by halftime. You know what I mean? That we don't got that no more. So you got to develop that. It didn't start off that way. I remember getting whooped up when I was a kid, 8, 10 years old, go to the game. And then in 83, it turned around, but they had to build that up. Howard was here 5 years before they won.
Yeah.
A part of the problem also is that we run our coaches off. After everybody wanted to fire. First, everybody wanted Manny.
Yep.
And then after last year, mid-season, everybody wanted to fire Manny. That don't work either.
Yeah. And we got Petey just came on the show. Hey. What's up, Petey? How you doing today?
Laz, what's happening, baby?
Hey, yeah, what's up, baby? Everything good,
baby? Hey, look, man. I haven't been on my laptop in a minute. Look, it took 30 minutes to update. I've been in here just waiting a half hour. Look, I done drunk 2 bottles of Crown waiting on the look. But I'm here now, man. What we talking about, man? Cheers, y'all brothers, man.
Oh, man.
Cheers, man. Welcome.
Petey,
Look,
man.
I got my mom and I got my mother-in-law downstairs. So if I've been drinking a lot, it's not my fault.
That'll do it.
Yeah, man. My mom just came up from Miami to help take care of my mother-in-law who just had surgery. They downstairs right now in a Mexican standoff over the TV. So
I bet y'all know what they're watching.
I've seen more housewives shows. I didn't know they had a housewife in Potomac. There's a Potomac one.
Why does it have to be a Potomac one? I didn't even know Potomac was a thing that people, said they were from. That's a wild one.
Here's the kicker, though, bro.
Is that a river?
One of the
Ain't that a river?
It's a river. It's a river.
But here's what's gonna kill y'all. One of the girls on the Potomac, I'm looking at the show, is my ex-girlfriend. She's one of the housewives, bro.
Yeah, I'm turning the TV off right there.
The TV off. I cut the whole breaker off. The whole house black, dark.
That's bad.
She's a cast member on the Potomac. That's the one my wife watches them all except for Potomac. I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Because even she couldn't stand this Potomac.
Well, what the is it? Seriously, they named the show after the river?
I think it's like Virginia, Washington D.C. area, right?
Yes, so it's Virginia, D.C., and Maryland. They just combined. But I don't want to talk about that. So moving on, fellas.
So they can make a Hialeah Gardens one, and it'll be like Miami Gardens and Hialeah together.
You talking about the housewives of Richmond Heights? It's gonna be beautiful, man.
They got one for the Potomac. We can get one too.
How come the Miami housewives never at Miami games? You know what I mean?
Because they're violent. Okay.
If they were winning, they'd be there. You know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll talk about that. Jesus.
Petey, man.
Man, what we talking about, man? What we on right now?
Petey, man, what's your take on the scrimmage, man? What have you seen about it? What are you feeling?
Well, not to be Debbie Down or nothing, but I mean, when you're doing highlight films, that's why they call it highlight films. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're gonna put the dude that got beat on the highlight reel. You're not gonna put the overthrown passes on the highlight reel. Look, man. We've been in this game. I know Laz and y'all, man. We've been doing this since we were kids. I need to see it on the field for real, man. Like, the highlight film is cool. I love it. That's fine. But it's almost like, some of you single guys might be on, what's the thing where you swipe right? What do you call it? Tinder? Yeah, you don't put your ugly picture on Tinder.
What?
A highlight reel is a highlight reel, man. It looked good. But at the end of the day, if we put a highlight reel up of J-Dub last year, his highlight reel was awesome. Yeah. It was amazing.
Just show the Louisville game and we're good.
A highlight reel is like a glamour shot.
Look, a highlight
reel. A glamour shot. They spent 9 hours painting her up trying to get her right for the picture.
That's all I'm saying, man. A highlight reel. What's
10
all
minutes
the
after the flash is over.
Every girl I see on Twitter that we talk to, every girl that's on there, the picture got diamonds all in their eyeballs, man. Like, all I'm saying is, you don't put your worst stuff up on, man. That's all I'm saying, bro. So I like it. It's good, but hell, we can put up DeVry University and they highlight reel gonna be 5 too. So looks good, but
yeah.
I've been burned a lot. I've been burned every year, bro.
No.
Because I was talking a lot. I was talking cash money shit about J-Dub last year. I was loud. I was talking crazy too. I was disrespectful. And
no, that highlight reel was that highlight reel was 64 seconds of a 2-hour scrimmage. So you're 100% right. Bro, you got to take it with a grain of salt. And I think that's kind of what we were. I went
and played basketball the other day with some young kids. If you take 64 seconds, I'm the man. But if you look at the total of what really happened, I got killed. So I don't know. I don't know, bro. I'm just And I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, man, but I've been burnt a lot, man. You know?
Nah, I don't think at this point, that's not Debbie Downer. That's, I mean, realistic Rita. You know what I mean? You got it is what it is. Every year, there's that certain segment of our society, poor unfortunates, that do that to themselves. Last year they were talking 11-1, 12-0, and I'm like, do they know that this man is a rookie head coach with a stack he put together with chicken wire and spit? So we do that to ourselves every year.
Yeah, bro.
And then when the obvious happens, when the foreseen happens, we get mad and we want to fire everybody.
Right. I'm thinking that I like the fact that they didn't put out the entire scrimmage, because people, like, when it comes to football, especially the Canes, it's like politics, man. They either way to the right or way to the left. Nobody is analyzing it for what it is. It's still practice, bro. Like, you're working on things, man. You're running plays that you might not run in the game. You're working on different things. But the way we react to stuff, it was, like you said, it was 64 seconds. And next thing I know, everybody talking about, we going to the ship. I'm like, bro.
There's a scrimmage this weekend, right?
Yes.
Let our fan base tell it we going to the ship. And if you say anything else, oh, you ain't a real fan and all this whoop-de-whoop, man. But look, bro, I've been doing this for a minute, man. Like I said, I'm 36 at this point. I done seen it. I've been hurt a lot. So I'm gonna wait, man.
Man, we know what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
On the way, something like that. We know what it feels like and what it starts looking like early on when you're on that road. And I'm gonna tell you right now, not only have we not been on that road, we haven't even been in that neighborhood in a long time, man.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm not saying that from one year to another, especially with this portal stuff now and kids transferring left and right, you can't put something together like the Marlins did to win those 2 cheap-ass World Series and then disbanded the team. But you can't build nothing consistent that wins like we won back when,
Right.
like that. It takes time. It takes years.
You know, and with Manny being a new coach, I think that a lot of people put too much pressure on him. I wouldn't. Now, did we lose some games last year that we shouldn't have lost? Yes. But at the same time, he's still a new coach, bro. Like, Schnellenberger, he didn't win the first year. Saban didn't win the first year. Hell, Dabo damn sure didn't win the first year. So it's like, we got to sit back. But I think just the Miami attitude, we so cocky in general that we just want results because we get the best player. Well, we're supposed to get the best players. But them boys still got to
all those other losses, I'll give you that. Rookie head coach, all right. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care who's coaching. This dog right here could have been coaching. You're supposed to beat FIU, bro.
Yeah.
You're supposed to beat FIU. I don't care if you're a new coach. I don't care if you got the scout team out there. I don't care who you're supposed to beat FIU.
FIU, I was talking about more UNC and Georgia Tech. FIU, we already know what that was. I went to the UNC game, dude, and I talked cash money shit. Walking up the hill, and I had to walk back like a clown.
Yeah.
A clown, bro. I sat there and watched that boy miss chip shots after chip shots. I paid money to go up there, man. It was embarrassing, dude. Embarrassing.
FIU was the worst loss, but I think the second worst loss and equal. And I almost went insane
Georgia
that day.
No. Georgia Tech.
No.
Georgia Tech wasn't supposed to win the game last year.
Virginia Tech. That game that started the way it started off, that 28, they were down in the hole and just kept throwing he just kept throwing interception after interception. I thought I was in a bad dream. I couldn't believe what I was.
But they were still in it though. And they were fighting, and they, and it was
they got
forth, and then
they got back in it at the end.
They were still in the game, They figured some things out there, so I now don't speak so much because you fought.
They put Kosi in. They had to get rid of Williams. They had to sit Williams. There was no way in. I've never seen a quarterback. I mean, especially a 4-star touted kid that comes in, throws one interception, and completely nosedives. I mean, I watched it happen multiple times. Just
I
one
will
pick.
say, I agree
One
with
pick
you
is
right
all
there,
it took.
Fresh. I ain't never seen it like just discombobulated like that after one pick. He
No,
completely lost
one
it.
pick.
No.
He
Wasn't worth a damn after that.
They would
Look,
drive. They'd drive, and they'd get in the red zone, or they get close to, and they throw a pick, and you're like,
when
holy!
it
You're
comes,
like, I was in a loop. I was in a nightmare loop that
I'll
game.
give you some inside information, which I never have. Look, I'm not one of the sources, but I live in Atlanta, so source alert. Some sources, you know what I'm saying? But so I live in Atlanta, so Gwinnett County is literally, my house is here where the kid play ball is. I can kick a football there. So I like, I go to watch the games, man. So I got a few kids I mentor, and I go to their games or whatever. So watching him throw that pick and melt down is literally what he does. Because in high school, he was just bigger than everybody. But if he threw a pick, he'd shut down. Shut down completely. Hence why he had offers from Kentucky and all this and that, but he didn't have offers from a lot of the Power 5. The kid, like, I don't know if it's a mental thing, but if he's not succeeding on the field, he doesn't have that fight. He shuts down. He gets down on himself. Then he gets down on his teammates, and it's a wrap.
He loses interest.
That can't happen at quarterback. It just can't
I
happen.
But
I don't care if you're a freshman or not.
it's like, my thing is,
That's
I
like
don't
the
know if-
engine of your car losing interest. Ain't going nowhere.
No, he's done. Once he throws the interception, he's already have done. If he throws two,
Sorry.
put somebody else in because he's done. He's
Right.
done.
And they always did it too late. They always did it too late.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess after the third INT, I would have thought it would probably warming somebody up for sure.
Maybe the
But,
third.
I
Maybe
mean,
the third.
You think?
You don't think that after the first or second one he's going to continue to nosedive. They were trying to get him coached up on the sideline,
I
telling him
know,
all
but
kinds of stuff.
I think about that. Here's the thing, though. Like, are we not talking to these players enough to know their mentality, their mental fortitude? I knew the kid's mental fortitude was fucked, and all I did was watch him from the sideline. I'm like, this kid breaks down. Not that-
Oh, you can see right there.
But you can tell, like, after one, after two, he gotta go.
I don't think Enos was honestly a good enough coach to even pick up on that. Really, I don't think he was capable,
bro.
I feel bad for Cincinnati that they hired him as their damn running back coach. I feel awful for them, man. They're gonna regret that.
He's
That
very-
guy left here to
like
be a
a-
running backs coach.
Yeah, our offensive coordinator is a running back.
Anywhere.
Is
Cincinnati playing? Is Cincinnati playing? Is their conference playing right now?
No, they're not.
They're not playing?
AAC is not going to play.
Damn. So Enos, we're not even going to see him do that this year.
No, my little cousin.
He gets to keep his job then.
They're done. He's
I
like,
don't know how the hell you're going to assemble a season with all these other conferences, what are you going to do for cupcakes?
One non-conference game only this year, every team.
Hey, UAB ain't no pushover, man. I know
No, that's the team though. That's the only. I don't. I agree.
They're
But
not
that's the
our-
team that we
I'm not
have.
talking about us. We don't got no cupcakes. I'm
No,
not
we
talking.
don't.
We never got to Dunkin' Donuts. We didn't make the bakery. We ain't got no cupcakes.
Well,
That doesn't apply to us. I'm talking about all these other teams. Where are they gonna get their homecoming games at?
it's gonna be rough.
No, did you see? You saw Arkansas' schedule.
Oh, yeah.
That's
They're going to
hilarious.
go 0-11.
Our schedules.
Brutal.
They
Look,
gonna get paid though,
if-
man.
if-
They pay good for you to
They
go out there and get your
succeed.
head knocked in.
If they
I don't know
win
that works.
two games.
They're gonna cry all the way to the bank.
But
And-
I read something today where they were talking about the Michigan State, and all them. They're trying to they're like, look, if we got to run 8, they just gonna run 8. Instead of
Yeah.
fucking 10.
It seems like they got a deal done in some way.
Fancy story. I went to Michigan State on a football scholarship, got cold, and left and went back to the place where
Wow.
I believe it.
I froze. I couldn't do it.
Hell
But no,
no.
a few
I used to work for a company that had a warehouse in the Upper Peninsula, and that guy told me one time, hey, I need you to go up to the UP. And I looked up what the temperature was. I'm like, man, you can go ahead and lay me off right now.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't going nowhere.
I laughed.
No frown.
Late.
Hey, I love you guys, man. Hang in there. If we
Last
do
year-
have a football season, the only thing that we can really honestly, expect is some type of improvement across the board, and that Manny learned his lessons from last year. And hopefully all these good pieces that he's put together, because I got to tell you, that he did make some very good moves, staff-wise. And I hope they work out, and I hope they click, and I hope they work together, man, and really help them out, because we sure do need to see some type of improvement, and not just in the win-loss column. We need to be in these games, man, and we need to handle who we need to handle. Those are the things that we need to see. But yeah, man, if we do have football, let it be a year that we walk away saying, damn, man, he learned his lesson. He's a better coach, and we're a better football team.
So, Laz, you're saying 11-0, right? That's your prediction?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a good man, dude. Take it easy.
All right, hey, man, I got a question for y'all boys. So, I don't want to be Debbie Downer again. But here's the thing, though. So, Rousseau's gone, but I still feel good about that position, though.
Yeah.
He's out, but I feel good. I feel like if we finish anything less than overall ACC, I'm not talking about coast and all that bullshit. I'm talking about literal anything less than second place is a failure for me. And I want to hear y'all opinions.
Yeah, it's been that way for me. Yeah, it's been that way for a while for me, man. I mean, I've been expecting success for 15 damn years, basically, and I've only gotten it like twice in the last 15 years. I expect all the time. There's no excuse. There's just no excuse. I mean, player for player, you look at it. I mean, we talk about how we recruit. Yeah, we recruit good. We just don't develop. But you look at player for player, everybody that we bring in, there is absolutely no reason why on a regular season we shouldn't be playing Clemson every single year for the ACC title. There's nothing else that should be happening.
I think an interesting conversation is about how this year, at least just for this season, without the Coastal, right? Miami had a great chance, I think, of winning the Coastal. But when you put all the teams in the ACC now and add Notre Dame in the same, it's a free for all, right? So, and I had to learn this because I wasn't picking up on the new changes. And now it's just the top two teams are going to be the ACC championship game again if there's a season. So again, obviously, I think that hurts Miami this year, right? I think we had a good chance. Miami had a good chance of winning the Coastal, but now throw in the fact that there's, twice the teams that can actually, win the whatever, be the top two. And let's just assume Clemson is number one, right? So that leaves one spot for everybody else, including Notre Dame. That's not a good thing for Miami and the state of from the current state of the program. I think great chance of winning the Coastal, not a great chance of winning that one spot that's left.
I agree.
And the fact that Miami, what's that?
I said, like you said, I think the Coastal was if I had to bet on it, the Coastal was a lock. But now with everything in, I just don't know if they're are they experienced enough team?
Yeah.
To fuck with the likes of Notre Dame and all that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And you're going to throw in some wild cards, and you got obviously UNC is looking pretty good.
Right.
And then you got obviously you said Notre Dame. Who else? I mean, I think the expectation is FSU doesn't rise to the occasion this year.
I think FSU was trash, but we're talking UNC. We're talking. I heard some good things about NC State. You're talking some Notre Dame, NC State, UNC. Hey, buddy, we're talking football. I don't know, bro. You
got your Virginias, your Virginia,
Tech, but Virginia Tech is always talking shit. But
it seems like somebody from the ACC every year, somebody you might not expect, kind of has a season above their pay grade.
Every year, bro. That's yeah. Like UNC last year, dude. I was like,
It could be Virginia. It could be Pittsburgh. It could be, I mean, any one of those guys. And we know no matter what, even if those guys have a down season, those teams come to play us hard. I don't give a damn. For some of those teams, beating us is still like going to their damn Super Bowl. They celebrate it. They celebrate it like we're still in the 90s, basically. They celebrate it like they beat.
Because the U is always the U. So whenever they play us, they're going to play us like we're the U from the 80s. They in the 90s and 2000s. They play us like Ray Lewis is there. They playing us like Sean Taylor's there. And when they beat you, they don't care.
Yeah, I've always said that.
FIU was crazy.
Miami doesn't get credit for winning games, but the other team gets a lot of credit for beating Miami. It's a weird dynamic that was created because of all the hype, the swag, the movies, all the bullshit.
They hated us, bro. They hated us.
Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali could be 98 years old. You knock Muhammad Ali ass out, you the man. It's like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson been snorting cocaine for 30 days. He fucked up, but it don't matter. You whip Mike Tyson ass, they like, well, shit, he whipped Mike Tyson ass. But it is what it is. What can you do, man? Because we talk that shit. We have that swagger, so it comes with it, bro. Like, you just got to deal with it. And the players, they come into it, and they had the swagger. They weren't playing no ball.
Yeah.
So we saw the swag. We saw the swag against Notre Dame when we put in work on Notre Dame. That was Miami swag, bro. That was 100% official Miami swag.
And then went to Pittsburgh and got our ass whipped.
That no consistency, zero consistency, bro. You can't have these huge ups and downs, bro. The team never finds a balance.
Yeah, man. And so, what are you saying that's player based or coaching based? I said,
I lost you.
I said, are you saying that's player based or coaching based?
Man, I put a lot of this on the coaches, bro, because one thing is that I watched our team actually get bullied last year at times, bro. That should never happen. Our team actually got out. I don't know why I say it, like they just played harder, I guess you could say. We watched Georgia Tech, FIU. These teams played harder than we did. You can't have
– 4th down to 17, bro.
Yeah. A coaching staff.
I said it's a wrap. 4th down to 17.
You can never allow a team the caliber of Miami to ever fall to those kind of lows, bro. It just can't happen. First year, whatever, bro. We watched our team come out and quit on that coaching staff. We watched them quit. And that's unacceptable.
With a 4th and 17, like I watched in person. My old lady got me, she drove us up there, got me a hotel room for my birthday. My birthday's September, so it was around that time, bro. I was excited. And I'm like, well, hell. She was like, hey, this is a game that you guys will win. They suck. I'm like, yeah. Ain't that a bitch? So it's like watching a 4th and 17. Let's just say the coaches don't call nothing. We should have the athletes to stop a 4th down and 17.
It's not even a question, bro. The fact that we didn't stop it, to me, was all on. I mean, that was all on the coaches, bro. That was all on the coaches. They put us in the wrong position.
4th down to 17. Y'all backed up like it's a Hail Mary end of the game play, and I said, they're going to get it. He threw the ball 15 yards and just. Oh God! No, I'm getting mad. I don't want to talk about it.
We saw though how much of a difference there is between an experienced coach in Butch Davis and an unexperienced coach in Manny Diaz. We saw firsthand what the hell really happens. Yeah, Butch Davis has got a great background. He's always won.
Manny's cooler, but Butch got more experience, and it was embarrassing.
Flop Davis, you mean? That shit was embarrassing too.
It was embarrassing, bro.
I mean, to end our season, to go into the off season, you want to have your head held high. Our players didn't even care about that damn bowl. They didn't give a fuck about that bowl game. I'm sorry, but they didn't give a damn. Enos, all those guys, whatever game plan they gave them beforehand, the team knew it wasn't going to freaking work, and they weren't going to go out there and bust their ass for no damn reason. To see us end the season like that burns, bro. That burns my damn soul going into the off season like that.
It's embarrassing, bro.
That's Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech.
I don't even know their mascot. It might be a crawfish or some shit. I'm not sure. I'm serious, bro. I don't even know. And I just sat there
project.
I sat there in the bar, Miami down as usual, embarrassed. I was like, this shit is crazy. I don't think that's gonna happen this year though. But I don't think it's gonna happen any year either. So
No, like Laz was saying, I think you know, all we want is Manny to have learned some lessons. Everyone's humble. Us fans are humble, you know, and that's it. We're gonna approach this season a little bit differently, and I think that's a good thing. You need that, you know.
Right.
You look back at like Dabo's first, you know, years at Clemson. You even think of Saban's first year, and you know, it wasn't like these guys stepped in and they were powerhouses. You know, it takes time to build, and I think Manny definitely has the leadership qualities. There's no doubt, in my opinion. From just you can hear him speak on TV. You can hear him, even what he was saying in that 64 seconds from the scrimmage. You know, where he was talking about each play has its own life, and once it's over, it's over. I think he was speaking to because dealing with Jaron Williams last year. To your point, because you know that shit tend to lag with the team. You know, they look at the quarterback and they're going, my QB can't get himself together. How am I going to get myself together? You know, and this year there's a different leader in place. There's different coaches. There's a quarterback that is without a doubt leaps and bounds ahead of any quarterback that's been at Miami.
Not worried about QB.
No, I mean since Kaya, right? And Kaya single-handedly, I think, won a lot of Brad just his leadership won some of the games that Miami should have won. If you remember, under Brad Kaya, Miami didn't really lose a lot of games that they shouldn't have won.
Huh.
They usually won those games.
Not upset anybody, but we wasn't losing to fucking FIU.
Exactly. There was not many surprises under Brad Kaya, right? And I think King brings that leadership, but he also brings the athleticism that Kaya didn't have. And then throw into that an offensive coordinator that seems to be on the cutting edge, and a defense that's been pretty dominant under Manny Diaz's tenure. And there's no reason to think that this team should lose more than, you know, 2 or 3 games next year, and hopefully to the good teams only, you know, to the better teams. I'm sure we'll have a surprise bad loss, and I'm sure we'll have a surprise big win, and I'm sure we'll have a couple standard losses. That's just kind of my opinion on it.
That playing out, right? Just like I'm good with that playing out like that. I'm good with an upset, and I'm good with some bullshit. As long as not losing the fucking Georgia Tech running the ball 400 times, or the fucking FIU, bro. Like, if we lose to NC State on some dumb shit, cool.
Yeah.
That kind of hurt my heart to say.
But, I know. I hear you. It's a reasonable. You're being reasonable. You're not. You know.
Right.
We all want to win every game, and we should win every. Miami should win every game. But
like I said, the games I watched us lose, and what's real bad is I watched in person to us lose to Georgia Tech, and it was like they're not good, bro. And the Georgia Tech people were surprised. They're like, we're just here to have a good time. They had no idea they were going to win, and it was just like, oh God, I don't want to talk about it.
Hey guys, we're almost up here on our hour for the show, so got to kind of get things closed down here. Before we go, we always ask the guests here what their prediction for the season is, wins and losses. So before we get off here, Petey, go ahead, give us your take on wins and losses real quick here.
Wait, let me get the total amount of games because I'm still confused about what's going on with this fucking conference.
It's 11. Is 11.
Yeah.
9-2.
9-2. All right. RY and NJ, what do you got, man?
I'll go with the safe pick. You know, I'm right in the middle. It's not hot or cold. I'll say 8-3. I'll say, you know, a couple losses you wouldn't be surprised about, one that you'll be surprised about. But overall, better play. We'll feel confident. Maybe have a chance at that second slot in a wild COVID bullshit year. And you know, to Alabama next year when Derek King steps out there, and then I think he walks away after that. We beat Alabama next year, and then Derek King retires to go to the NFL to get ready for the NFL, and let's TBD or Kosi step in, man. That's my wild prediction for 2021. So in case I don't talk to you guys till then.
Right on. Paul, what do you got to end us off here, bro?
I'd say 7-3. You know, it's a tough schedule. We've never faced 10 conference games. We lost to a lot of easy opponents last season. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We don't have fans in the stadium. No, we do live off of, our home games. What if Florida State takes a big lead on us? Do we come back? So, I'll say 7-3. Honestly, De'Aaron King, we're going to have to rely heavily on his legs to win a lot of football games.
I like right every opinion y'all had, man. All that sounds really like, who knows, bro?
I'm hoping for 3 losses. 3 losses is what I see us at too, man. I mean, we're not over the hump where we're not going to lose a bad game. I hope it's not 2 bad games, 3 bad games. But no matter what happens, these ACC foes are going to come to play us. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They're just going to play us with 110% every single Saturday they face us. And it's just something we have to expect. It's just the way it is right now. Yeah, I think that 3-loss mark right there shows enough production to keep things moving forward. I don't want this to go back. The last thing I want to do is see this go backwards anymore or stay at what we were last year. We just can't afford it anymore. So going forward, I think we're going to be a lot better football team this year. I think we're going to actually see improvement quarter by quarter by quarter by quarter. I think as the season goes on, this team will get better. I think Lashley and those guys are that good of coaches.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think that about ends it up for us here, guys. We're about right at our hour here. Want to thank Petey, RYNJ. We had the OG Laz join us for a while. That was awesome. It's always great to have Laz. Yeah, man, thank you guys for jumping on, man. It's always great to have the fans on here. We always love hearing what they got to say. And always and forever, baby, it's all about the U. Later, guys.
Later.